Hey friends, it's UrsulasRevenge. It's roadmap day. I feel like we just did one of these. It was like a really fast 5 weeks. Anyways, this roadmap is all about the upcoming Halloween event, so we have the next 4 weeks of updates. I think it worked out really well in the blog post video, so we're going to just talk about these. I'm going to do some training in the background, and that's pretty much it. And before we get started, yes, this is a level 15 horse. Yes, I do trainings on level 15 horses, because training is not just for getting horse experience, it's for grinding shillings, it's for getting high scores, and most importantly, it's because I like doing the races in this game. Are you guys not playing this game because you enjoy it? Anyways, let's talk about week 1 on October 8th, Gallopers warm welcome. Gallopers Ghastly Keep is back. Karen has upped her cauldron skills with a spellbook, Igor returns with his questionable pet practices, and other fan-favorite activities are available throughout the keep. There have also been sightings of 2 horses that seem a little off. The word of mouth is something about fangs and patchwork. Hopefully they're friendlier than they look. And speaking of stories, this week Linda is sharing the first chapter of Galloper's tragic backstory. So, breaking that down line by line, first up, we know that there's going to be a new activity with the cauldron being a spellbook, so it looks like we're going to get the tutorial for that on week 1. Igor's pet practices are the free pets that we got from doing the haunted trail ride and collecting the long list of items that we need. That's going to be something to work towards throughout the entirety of the Halloween event, but it is nice that it is starting week 1. This way we can have as much time as possible, since I know the callers were giving a lot of people trouble last year. There will be actually a whole separate video about unlocking the pets, so if you are having trouble at any point during the event, I am going to do my best to get a video out as soon as possible to basically teach you how to get the pets. I just obviously have to get them first. Additionally, it looks like we might be getting the 2 magic horses the first week of the event, which is very exciting. We've already seen official spoilers as well as unofficial spoilers. I think the opinion on these is mixed, to be completely candid. I need to wait to actually see them officially in the game, but here's my unsolicited opinion. I really love the non-magic coat of the fanged horse. Magic coat's not my thing, it just kind of reminds me of applique, but the non-magic coat honestly is like a million times worth it for me to get. And for the patchwork horse, I don't think this one's as bad as other people are saying. I know there are a lot of people who actually do really like this horse, but there's also a lot of other people who just don't think that it fits the theme enough, and that I completely agree with. It definitely looks like more ghoulish versus patchwork. And I'm using the code words just in case people don't want to see the actual spoiler images. I get what they were going for because it does have stitches. However, it is looking a little bit more to me like they leaned more into the electrocution side of the story, which isn't a bad thing. I still think it looks really cool, but it looks a little bit more like an X-ray versus patchwork. That said, I love the magic mane on this horse. I think it's just so cool and so unique. I'm not a fan of the non-magic mane, but I do think the coat on the non-magic one is cute. It still fits though, so I completely understand why they chose that. That's just my personal taste, that I'm not a big fan of that mane style in particular, but be real, I'm probably still going to get them both anyway. My current plan is my side account's going to get the patchwork one, my main account is going to get the fanged one. And finally, for the first week, Linda is sharing the first chapter of Galloper's tragic backstory. Now, I think I've seen a couple of people also confused about the Galloper Thompson storyline based off of the recent blog post. I've seen a couple people mention that they're excited that that storyline is getting a revamp. I don't think that's the case. I think it's getting a continuation. The blog specifically mentioned an expansion, not a redo or update. So I believe the first part of Linda's quests will all be the same that we've currently gotten. It's just the finale that will be different. I believe Linda's current quest does span the 4 weeks, so it's possible that in order to actually expand and add new content, they actually had to combine different parts of the quest. So we might see that some of the chapters are longer than they used to be on a given week. That's just my assumption based on the blog post and what I've seen for the Equestrian Festival Sabine storyline. One thing to note about Linda's questline is even if you have done it before, you can repeat the storyline, and I believe you do still get player experience for doing that. Granted, I don't think it's a lot. I think some of the quests are like 10 player experience. However, if you are like a couple hundred experience away from a level up, like I am, hopefully that means we get to level up during the Halloween event. So I will always take extra player experience. So even if you have done them before, they are worth doing, especially if you want to get the continuation. You'll have to replay all of the previous quests in order to unlock it. Next up, on October 15th, stories continue. The cauldron continues to spew rewards and new recipes arrive in the spellbook. The ghastly stories of the history of Galloper Thompson himself also continue as the second chapter is now able to be discovered. The keep is now also filling up with magical horses from previous years. Interesting. Okay, so they're kind of doing the opposite with the magic horses like they've done in years past. So just to talk on that first, in previous years, the previous magic horses, I believe, unless I'm misremembering, the previous year's magic horses were always there first, and the new magic horses would arrive week 2. So instead, this year, the new magic horses will be available first, I guess to prioritize those purchases, and the remaining magical horses will all return the next week. Typically, what we've seen, returning magic horses usually do get discounted, so it could be that they want people to buy the new horses before they... I am also really curious about this Cauldron spellbook functionality. It seems like we're, at least hopefully, getting both functionality. We're getting the new spellbook system, but we're also still getting rewards from the Cauldron. I don't know if it's going to be the same system, if the spellbook will just basically catalog specific recipe orders to get you specific items, and if like each week there's a new thing that you can unlock. Maybe? I don't know. We'll have to find out next week and see how that actually works, but I'm really excited to find out. So I know last year there was like a lot of confusion if specific combinations got you specific rewards or if it was random. There was a whole issue about not being able to get the leg wraps if you already had the Horseshoes of the Master Blacksmith on your horse. So hopefully if there are specific recipes, it'll make it a little less frustrating and kind of random. And also, as expected, the second chapter of Galloper storyline with Linda. Not to go back to the magic horses, but if you remember from last year, they did mention that last year was going to be Pepita and Whittier's last time at the Halloween festival and that they would arrive somewhere permanently in Jorvik. They didn't give a timeline. I don't know if they've gone back on that, if they've changed their mind, if they will appear at this event, or if they will appear permanently elsewhere. So jury's still out on those two horses in particular, if you were excited to get them. That said, they're not permanently retired. They did say that they would come back, so hopefully we get a little bit more information about that. On to week 3 on October 22nd, Galloper's final piece. Galloper's tragic story comes to its conclusion as Linda continues to investigate the vision she's getting. Can the Headless Horseman find peace at last? Back in the reality of Jorvik, 3 new coat variations have arrived, and while their coats might be scarily beautiful, they are permanent additions. Oh, that is exciting! Okay. We'll go top to bottom because I'm very excited to talk about the last one. I don't want to forget about the first ones. So we have the conclusion to Galloper Thompson's quest line. So it seems like maybe since Linda's first series took 4 weeks, maybe the first 2 weeks will be in week 1, the second 2 weeks will be in week 2. So I believe ending with the Broderick storyline. And then on week 3, we get the like new finale for Galloper's storyline, or at least the continuation. So interesting to know what that's going to be like. And we're getting 3 new coat variations that are going to be permanent. Last year, they also did this where we got 3 coat variations. We got one for the ASB, is the Chimera ASB. We got my favorite Cell Francais in the entire game. I don't know what this coat is called, but we have this one. And the other Cell Francais that was also added around the same time with lots of brindling. So we have those like very unique, almost slightly spooky coats from last year, and they're doing it again this year. And there are already spoilers of these coats. I'm not going to show them because there is one at least that is not finished, but from what I have seen of all 3 of them, they are stunning and a really good variety of horses as well. That is so exciting. I'm so glad that they're coming out in only like 3 weeks. And finally, the final update for Halloween on October 29th, concluding the horrors. It's the final week of the Halloween festival, and the spellbook has mustered up the last 2 spells for items in the cauldron. The registrar needs help from some lively faces to bring back the wandering spirits who've left the prison tower, and meanwhile, in Moorland, the bazaar is setting up for a week of horse sales. Okay, cool. Your typical event wrap-up stuff, last chance at getting everything you want out of the cauldron because the final recipes will be unlocked. The Registrar quest is a daily sort of scavenger hunt quest where every day there will be a new ghost that you have a clue on where to find them. You have to satisfy their request, and then they will come back with you to Galloper's Keep. If you miss a day, you'll be able to do the days that you missed on the subsequent day. So if you want to only play once a week, just log in on Tuesday. You can do all 7 quests. And monthly bazaar. We have no idea which horses are going on bazaar yet. And honestly, I don't even know if I can speculate. Anyways, that is all we have for the next up in Jorvik to talk about. Something that I did want to mention, the next up in Jorvik mostly pretty much only talks about the new stuff that is happening and being added to the game. So it really only covers the main features of each week if they're not new, and the new stuff that is new. So if you are wondering, hey, what about all of the races, and what about the trick-or-treating, and what about the trail ride, there's no evidence that that stuff won't be returning. Week 1, all they do say though is other fan favorite activities, so we can assume that it is all wrapped up in that statement. But again, we will find out for sure come next week. Oh, and if you are a newer player and you are pretty much just getting started in this game, hi, welcome. I hope you are enjoying your time on Jorvik. Make sure to unlock Golden Hills Valley. A lot of the event takes place in that area of the map, and it does take a couple of days to get through those time stops. I think it takes 2 days max. You're going to want to start with a quest with the councilman asking why the gate is still closed. I forget the name of the actual quest, but he's going to send you to investigate why the gate's closed. You're going to have to go look for a key. You're going to have to wait for Conrad to make a key, and then you're going to actually be able to enter Golden Hills Valley. And that is all you need to actually unlock the Halloween update. And also probably worth noting, I believe the quest requirement for that is level 12, and you have to have completed like the beginning parts of the main story quest, specifically regarding Linda and Silverglade Castle. You'll know what I'm talking about when you experience it. Anyways, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video like this. I do try to cover every Wednesday update and more. And I will see you all next week for some Halloween festivities. Bye!